Before we begin, if you enjoy real-life stories told with emotion and careful research, please subscribe to the channel and support its growth. Your support allows us to continue creating high-quality documentaries and inspiring stories about the world's most fascinating people. Every like, comment, and subscription helps bring more stories like this to life. Now, let's travel back in time and discover how a quiet little boy from a small industrial town grew into one of the greatest entertainers the world has ever known. Michael Jackson's story did not begin on a giant stage filled with bright lights, screaming fans, and unforgettable music. It began in a modest home in the small city of Gary, Indiana, where he was born on August 29, 1958. The Jackson family was far from wealthy. They lived in a small house where space was limited, money was often tight, and every member of the family had to contribute in one way or another. Michael was the 8th of 10 children born to Joseph and Catherine Jackson. While many children his age spent their afternoons playing outside without a care, Michael grew up in a household where music was becoming a serious part of everyday life. His father, Joseph Jackson, worked long hours in a steel mill to support the family, but he also dreamed of success in music. Although his own musical ambitions had not turned into the career he had hoped for, he noticed something remarkable in his children. He realized they possessed natural musical talent, and he believed that with enough discipline and practice, they could achieve what he never could. Joseph formed a singing group with Michael's older brothers, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, and Marlon. At first, Michael was simply the youngest child watching his older brothers rehearse. No one expected that the little boy quietly observing from the corner of the room would soon become the heart of the group. One day, as the brothers practiced, Michael began singing along. His clear voice immediately caught everyone's attention. Despite being only a young child, he sang with confidence, emotion, and remarkable control. He wasn't simply copying the music he heard. He seemed to understand it in a way that surprised even the adults around him. Joseph quickly realized that Michael possessed an extraordinary gift. Before long, the young boy became one of the lead singers of the family group. Practice soon became a daily routine. The Jackson children spent countless hours rehearsing after school. Joseph demanded perfection. Mistakes were corrected immediately, and rehearsals often lasted late into the night. Michael's childhood was very different from that of most children. Instead of spending weekends playing games or relaxing with friends, he was learning dance routines, memorizing lyrics, practicing harmonies, and developing the stage presence that would later amaze audiences around the world. The schedule was demanding, and although it was difficult, those years built the foundation for the performer Michael would eventually become. As the family continued practicing, they started performing in local talent shows, clubs, and small venues throughout Indiana and nearby states. Audiences were immediately drawn to the tiny lead singer whose energy seemed impossible for someone so young. Michael danced with confidence, smiled naturally, and delivered every song with passion beyond his years. People often forgot they were watching a child because his performances displayed the confidence of a seasoned professional. The group eventually became known as the Jackson 5. Their growing reputation spread quickly through the regional music scene. They won talent competitions and attracted larger crowds wherever they performed. Every successful performance gave the family new hope that music could become more than just a dream. Yet the road was far from easy. They traveled constantly, performed in challenging environments, and faced the uncertainty that every aspiring artist experiences before reaching success. Michael continued to improve at an astonishing pace. He carefully observed legendary performers who came before him, studying how they moved, sang, and connected with audiences. Even as a young boy, he paid close attention to every detail. He understood that entertaining people involved much more than simply singing well. It required emotion, timing, confidence, and the ability to make every person in the audience feel included in the performance. Those lessons would remain with him for the rest of his career and eventually help shape one of the most recognizable performance styles in music history. As the Jackson 5 gained popularity, their growing success eventually attracted the attention of professionals in the music industry. One of the biggest turning points came when they impressed people connected with Motown Records, one of America's most influential record labels at the time. Signing with Motown changed everything. It opened doors that had once seemed impossible for a family from Gary, Indiana. Suddenly, Michael and his brothers were no longer performing only for local audiences. They were preparing to introduce themselves to the entire country. Their first major releases became instant hits. Songs like I Want You Back, ABC, The Love You Save, and I'll Be There climbed the music charts, making the Jackson 5 one of the biggest new acts in America. Millions of listeners were captivated by Michael's voice, which combined youthful innocence with remarkable emotional depth. Television appearances introduced the young singer to households across the nation, and audiences everywhere were amazed by his confidence, charisma, and joyful energy. Despite the growing fame, Michael remained incredibly dedicated to improving himself. Success did not make him stop learning. He continued practicing his singing, refining his dancing, and studying every performance with the goal of becoming better than he had been the day before. That relentless pursuit of excellence became one of the defining characteristics of his entire life. While many people admired the fame and applause, Michael focused on the work that happened behind the scenes, the endless rehearsals, the constant preparation, and the determination to give audiences an unforgettable experience every single time he stepped onto a stage. As the years passed, it became increasingly clear that Michael Jackson was not simply a talented child. He was becoming an artist with extraordinary ambition, imagination, and creativity. The little boy who had once stood quietly in the corner, watching his brothers rehearse, was beginning a journey that would eventually change the history of popular music forever. The world had only witnessed the beginning of his incredible story, and even greater achievements were still waiting just beyond the horizon. As the Jackson 5 continued breaking records, Michael Jackson's fame grew faster than anyone could have imagined. Crowds gathered everywhere the group performed, television producers wanted them on their shows, and fans waited for hours just to catch a glimpse of the young singer with the unforgettable smile. Yet behind the excitement, Michael was quietly developing a dream that reached beyond being the lead singer of a successful family group. He wanted to become an artist who could create music that reflected his own ideas, emotions, and imagination. Throughout the 1970s, Michael matured both as a singer and as a performer. His voice changed naturally as he grew older, and with that change came new challenges. Many child stars struggled when they reached adulthood, but Michael refused to allow that to define his future. Instead of fearing change, he embraced it. He spent countless hours listening to different styles of music, studying recording techniques, watching great performers, and learning from experienced musicians and producers. Every recording session became an opportunity to improve. Although the Jackson 5 remained successful, Michael increasingly wanted creative freedom. He hoped to write songs, experiment with new sounds, and build an artistic identity separate from the group. Those ambitions slowly led him toward a solo career that would ultimately transform the music industry. In 1979, Michael released the album Off the Wall. Working with producer Quincy Jones, whom he had met while preparing for the film The Wiz, Michael entered the studio with a clear vision. He wanted music that blended pop, soul, funk, disco, and rhythm and blues into something fresh and exciting. The results surprised both critics and audiences. Songs such as Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You became enormous international hits. Listeners noticed that Michael was no longer simply a former child star. His voice had matured, his confidence had grown, and his performances displayed a level of precision rarely seen in popular music. Off the Wall sold millions of copies worldwide and established him as one of the leading solo artists of his generation. Despite its success, Michael believed he could achieve even more. He appreciated every award Award and every chart-topping song, but deep inside, he felt he had not yet created the masterpiece he imagined. Friends and colleagues often described him as a perfectionist. He constantly searched for ways to improve every melody, every dance move, every lyric, and every performance. If something could be made better, he wanted to keep working until it reached the highest possible standard. That determination led him back into the recording studio with Quincy Jones to begin work on a new album. The sessions were long and demanding. Michael carefully selected songs, experimented with vocal harmonies, and repeated recordings until he felt every note carried exactly the right emotion. He wasn't interested in making just another successful album. His goal was to create something timeless. In late 1982, that vision became reality with the release of Thriller. At first, no one could fully predict what would happen next. The album gradually became a worldwide phenomenon, unlike anything the music industry had ever witnessed. Songs such as Billie Jean, Beat It, Human Nature, Wanna Be Startin' Something, and the title track Thriller dominated radio stations across the globe. Millions of people who spoke different languages and lived in different cultures connected with the music in exactly the same way. Michael's performances became legendary. During a television celebration honoring Motown in 1983, he performed Billie Jean and introduced a dance move that would become one of the most famous in entertainment history, the moonwalk. Although versions of the move had existed among street dancers before, Michael presented it with such precision and theatrical style that audiences around the world were left speechless. Overnight, children and adults everywhere attempted to imitate it. Music videos also changed forever because of Michael Jackson. Before Thriller, many videos were simply recordings of artists performing their songs. Michael believed they could be much more. He wanted every video to tell a story, feel like a short film, and transport viewers into another world. The video for Thriller, directed by John Landis, combined music, choreography, cinematic storytelling, costumes, and groundbreaking special effects. Running for nearly 14 minutes, it became one of the most influential music videos ever produced and inspired countless artists for decades to come. The success of Thriller exceeded every expectation. It became the best-selling album in history, earning unprecedented recognition around the world. Michael collected numerous awards, including multiple Grammy Awards, and newspapers across different countries described him as the King of Pop. Stadiums filled within minutes whenever concerts were announced, and fans often traveled across continents just to see him perform live. Yet despite becoming one of the most famous people on earth, Michael never stopped working. Fame did not reduce his commitment to rehearsals. Dancers, musicians, and producers who worked with him frequently recalled how he insisted on practicing every detail until everyone involved reached the highest possible level. He expected excellence not only from himself, but also from everyone sharing the stage with him. At the same time, Michael understood the influence his success had given him. He believed music could inspire people beyond entertainment. That belief became increasingly important as his career continued to grow, leading him toward projects that would reach far beyond the recording studio. Michael Jackson understood that fame could disappear if an artist stopped growing. Instead of repeating what had already made him successful, he constantly searched for new ideas. He spent hours listening to different musical styles, watching dancers from around the world, and imagining performances that audiences had never seen before. Every concert, every recording session, and every rehearsal became another opportunity to improve. In 1985, Michael joined dozens of other famous musicians to record the charity single, "We Are the World." Written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie and produced by Quincy Jones, the song was created to raise money for famine relief in Africa. The project became one of the most successful charity recordings in history and demonstrated that music could unite artists from different backgrounds for a common cause. For Michael, it was proof that success meant more than selling records. It also meant using his voice to help others. After the incredible success of Thriller, many people believed it would be impossible for Michael to match such an achievement. Expectations were higher than ever. Every move he made was watched by the media, every performance was analyzed, and every new song was compared with his previous work. Rather than avoiding the challenge, Michael accepted it. In 1987, he released the album Bad. Once again, he worked tirelessly in the studio to create music that felt fresh and powerful. Songs like Bad, The Way You Make Me Feel, Man in the Mirror, Dirty Diana, and Smooth Criminal became worldwide hits. Each song showed a different side of his artistry, from energetic dance tracks to emotional ballads with meaningful messages. The Bad World Tour became one of the biggest concert tours ever held at that time. Millions of fans attended performances across Asia, Europe, Australia, and the Americas. Every concert involved enormous preparation. Michael rehearsed with dancers for weeks, ensuring every movement matched the music perfectly. His live performances combined singing, choreography, lighting, costumes, and storytelling in ways that influenced generations of performers who followed. One of the songs that deeply reflected Michael's personal beliefs was Man in the Mirror. Its message encouraged people to begin changing the world by improving themselves first. The song became one of the defining moments of his career, reminding listeners that compassion, responsibility, and kindness could create real change. During the 1990s, Michael continued pushing artistic boundaries. Albums such as Dangerous and History introduced new musical styles while addressing themes like social injustice, environmental protection, and equality. Songs including Black or White, Remember the Time, Heal the World, Earth Song, and They Don't Care About Us demonstrated that he wanted his music to inspire conversations about issues affecting millions of people. Beyond music, Michael became widely known for his charitable work. Throughout his career, he supported hospitals, children's organizations, disaster relief efforts, and humanitarian causes around the world. He donated millions of dollars to charities and often visited sick children in hospitals without seeking publicity. Many of these visits became known only because hospital staff or families later shared their experiences. However, extraordinary fame also brought extraordinary pressure. Michael lived under constant public attention. Every appearance, every interview, and even private moments often became headlines. Rumors spread quickly, and not everything written about him was accurate. His appearance changed over the years, something that attracted enormous media attention. Michael explained publicly that he had been diagnosed with the skin condition vitiligo, which causes patches of skin to lose their natural pigment. He also acknowledged undergoing cosmetic procedures, though many stories published about his appearance were exaggerated or based on speculation. The 1990s and early 2000s were also marked by serious legal allegations against Michael. These accusations received worldwide media coverage and had a profound impact on his personal and professional life. Michael consistently denied wrongdoing. In 2005, after a highly publicized criminal trial, he was found not guilty on all charges. Although the verdict legally cleared him, the years of intense scrutiny left a lasting effect on his health, his career, and his personal life. Despite these challenges, Michael never stopped believing in music. He continued writing songs, meeting with musicians, and dreaming about future performances. Fans around the world remained deeply loyal, believing that one day they would once again see him on stage. In 2009, Michael announced a concert series titled This Is It, planned for London's O2 Arena. The announcement created enormous excitement. Tickets sold at an astonishing pace, and rehearsals began immediately. Those who attended the rehearsals later described Michael as focused, energetic, and determined to deliver unforgettable performances. Even after decades of global success, he still approached every rehearsal with the dedication of a young artist trying to prove himself. Then, on June 25, 2009, the world received shocking news. Michael Jackson died at the age of 50 at his home in Los Angeles after suffering cardiac arrest. His death stunned millions of fans across the globe. Tributes poured in from world leaders, fellow musicians, actors, athletes, and ordinary people whose lives had been touched by his music. Television networks interrupted regular programming, radio stations played his songs continuously, and fans gathered in cities around the world to celebrate his life and remember his extraordinary career. Even after his passing, Michael Jackson's influence has never disappeared. His albums continue to sell, His songs are streamed by new generations, and his performances remain a source of inspiration for artists across every genre of music. His innovative music videos, groundbreaking choreography, unforgettable voice, and relentless pursuit of excellence changed popular culture forever. The little boy who grew up in a modest house in Gary, Indiana, became one of the most recognized entertainers in human history. His journey was filled with triumphs, challenges, unforgettable achievements, and difficult moments. But through it all, one thing remained constant: his passion for music. Michael Jackson didn't simply perform songs, he transformed the way the world experienced music, dance, and entertainment. His legacy continues to remind millions that extraordinary dreams can begin in the most ordinary places, and that dedication, talent, and imagination can leave a mark on history that lasts far beyond a lifetime. Before we end today's story, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for staying with me until the very end. Your time and support truly mean everything to me. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more true stories like this one, please subscribe to my channel, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Every subscription really helps this channel grow and motivates me to keep creating better content for you. If you'd like to support my work even more, you can also support me on Ko-fi or PayPal. Every donation, no matter how big or small, helps me continue researching, writing, and producing these stories. You'll find all the support links in the description below. Thank you once again for watching until the end. I truly appreciate every single one of you. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next story.